Okay, we've got an audience.
Turn it down. Benjamin, turn it down. We should have brought your headphones and I did not. Next time, help me remember and we'll bring them, okay?
Okay, we're live.
Okay, time is 7 p.m., July 28, 2020. I'll bring the Hawthorne Place Owner Association meeting. Into session. If you haven't already, please sign in the back. If you don't feel comfortable, let us know. We'll copy your name and address down for the record. Well, you sign in the back, keep the pen. Two more stragglers. All right, while the rest are signing in, if you want to review the minutes from our last meeting, I believe it was dated January 27, 2020. If you have any questions or anything needs to be amended, we can do that before they're approved.
Just need your pen. You sign it. Yeah.
Do you have anybody online?
Hmm?
Do you have anybody?
Yeah, you've got several people.
Okay, and if there's not any questions or amendments for the minutes from January 27th, 2020, I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second motion.
You get that?
She's not taking minutes live.
I don't know.
Is Jody on?
She's on.
She taking minutes, can she hear?
Joni, can you hear us? Are you taking minutes?
If not,
Okay, no, all right. Rick seconded it.
She said she's here.
Okay. What,
so can she hear?
Can you hear
take a minute,
to take minutes?
or do we need to do it? It's fine either way. Sorry to take a minute trying to Facebook Live the meeting first time, so,
She hasn't responded yet.
okay, we'll take minutes anyway.
Okay, so minutes were approved by who?
Oh, yeah, she can hear.
Okay. I can get it that right. All right, we'll do reports by committee. I'll start with Clubhouse. Do you have anything to report?
Have money.
Money's always fun. All right,
to get ready to plan on painting, because it's dry and also starting to feel where when people are putting, taping stuff up. So we are gonna need to paint or set some money aside to paint and also do the wood trim.
That, we've had somebody come and look at that too. But
Okay.
I think that, I think that there's enough people interested in painting that it could save us some money if we all paint. So, if there's enough of us that would want to do that, cause the bids are pretty high, I mean, the painting is pretty high, so.
Painting is rather expensive, but if we feel people that wanna do it and can do a decent job, I'm not worried about doing it myself.
And
Yeah.
once it does get painted, we're gonna have more restrictions on what goes on walls and whatnot.
Yeah.
I also finally got the deadbolt put on that other door back here, so now we got two locks on every door,
Okay.
so.
All right, thank you. All right, nothing really new to report on the pool. Lockhart Pools has a contract, continuation from last season. They did do the joint repairs, and we struggled with the water early on, but we got it straightened out. We did get a new website is built. It's not live, but it's built, so you guys can preview it after the meeting, and you can give your input if you like it. It looks great.
What's the address of it?
It's gonna end up being hawthorneplacenorman.com.
All one word?
All one word. We try to get Hawthorne Place, but someone in, was it Massachusetts has it, so we can't use it.
Capital H and then the rest is all lower,
It doesn't matter.
so it's hawthorneplacenorman.com.
I'm not sure if it's visible on the outside of it.
I need to double check.
I just keep using her.
I keep to using the link too.
I guess I can look real quick.
Is that website also gonna allow for people to see the clubhouse calendar and
Yes.
see who's rented and everything? 'Cause
Yes.
that's been an issue.
It's gonna be, the rental agreement's gonna be online, so you can sign it digitally online. You can pay your dues or you pay your rental agreement money online, and it'll reserve and take off the availability on the clubhouse that day.
It looks good. Yeah, everything that you said is good.
So it's a lot better than the Google Place, and that we can change it and whatnot. We can get into more of that later on. Move through the list. The ACC, anything come through the line that you know of?
No. We have been mailing letters with issues, and a lot of them have been taken care of, so
Okay.
moving along.
Alright, so I wanna bring up if you do get a letter in the mail from the ACC for a violation, it's not a monetarily violation usually. If it's something huge, it'll be handled a whole lot different than trash cans being left out or toys constantly being left out that we get complaints with all the time. But as long as it's, everybody's being a good steward to the community and bringing up trash cans or whatever the violation is, nothing will come of it. It's not a legal notice per se. It's just issued in for tracking purposes to see if somebody's an habitual violator, and then we go from there. But no, there's no legal issues at that point. And if you have an issue with it, you can always email the president, myself, at president.hawthorneplacenorman@gmail.com, and you can I believe on the form also shows an appeal process on it, does it not?
I don't think so.
I thought we've added it.
No, I didn't. Maybe I should have, or I agreed to and have done.
Maybe it was for the full ACC request form has the appeal on it. I'm not sure. Well, we'll look at that again.
think we can't take food.
Right, I heard, moving to flowers or.
Perhaps a plant.
Yeah,
right.
I got a plant for $5 last time I did it, but I think they're $10.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Secretary, does she have anything to,
She said she has nothing to report. She wants to know how many people are present. There are 15 people in here.
okay? We have the sign-in sheet, I'll make a copy and then I'll email her a copy as well. Treasurer, again, those handouts, and I'll also email out, the financial reports to everybody in the homeowner association, so they also have a copy. Where we stand financially, I think it's the last few pages in there, shows the checking account, savings account, snapshot of the expenditures so far. Again, if you need more in depth, we can always get that from our CPA. And it's always accessible, yes.
I just have a strange question.
Okay,
What is that, under assets,
okay, let me pull it up real quick.
swimming pool fence or pool fence or something? I just didn't know what it does an asset.
Where's it at? Pool and,
Under fixed assets, it says furniture and fixtures, maintenance, equipment, and then pool fence.
pool fence,
Yeah. I just don't know what that.
I think that's the original fence that went around it.
And it's just, that's how much it's worth.
That's how much it's worth.
Okay.
There should be a line further down that gives us, a liability on it further down, or maybe on another report. So basically,
Okay.
all of our assets are, since we're nonprofit, everything levels out.
Okay, thank you.
But I believe that was the original price from the original fence that went around. I don't even know when that went in, how many years ago. Alright, so that's for you to look over. If you have more questions, please contact us and with your questions, then we can answer it. And you can speak with the CPA as well, if you would like. Let's see, Vice President?
The only thing I guess that I would like to, kind of remind people of about is the pool. And, we have some days where, Mike and I are just like, man, nobody's been here. Then we have other days when it's like everybody's here. So the only thing that we have to do is make sure that we don't exceed 30 people inside the enclosed area for right now. I think that it's real fortunate we've still been able to keep it open, even though we're having some horrible COVID numbers right now. But, make sure that, you pick up after yourselves and your children, because we pick up trash, you know, it's not that you can't pick up trash, it's that it's just better if you guys can do it. Usually it's just like food wrappers and stuff like that, and then food on the deck, and food on the deck brings ants. So there's been a few times that I've actually had to take the hose and scrub the food off because the ants were just everywhere. And it's especially, you know, like underneath the little pavilion thing and then out by the lawn chairs where people are eating. So, and make sure that we keep the bathroom doors shut. I found the men's open again last night, and that's like the third time I found it open. So we have to keep them shut, for, safety reasons and all that. Once we get the electronic stuff going, that won't be such a problem, because then we'll be able to tell, you know, who's been in the deals and stuff. And I do think I kind of empathize with people, especially who have children, because they're always having to run get the keys so they can get into the bathrooms and then bring it back and go get it again and all that. It's just, we just have to keep them shut, it's a health department thing, so, but other than that, I think that, the pool has done really well this year. Like Michael said, we had problems with copper. The first couple of weeks, I thought we weren't gonna get the copper out of the water. And so we finally closed it a little early one night and just shocked the heck out of it. And John came, and the next morning it cleared it up. So we haven't had a problem with it since. So it's nice that it stays really pretty and clean and all that.
Okay. All right, I'll move along with stuff I was going to talk about. We did get some projects done between January and now. We got the paint entrances painted, cleaned, with the blackout inlay for the letters that ran. We spent $500 to get that done.
And there's a little, have you seen the lights?
No.
Now we found some really nice, Kristen went online with Amazon and we found some really, what we're hoping will be heavy duty, solar lights because there's no electricity that runs to the flower beds. So, and that's kind of cool at night. They're nice and bright. They kind of, now with this weather, they're not so nice and bright, but otherwise, that's good.
All right, we had damage to the fence at the end of, what is it, Harrington Court. So we had to pay, we paid $275 to secure it. And we basically anchored down one side, added some hasps and 3 locks, and still somehow somebody broke through it. So I'm not sure how or when. We have an idea of when, but not sure how. So we ended up spending, I think, an extra $145. We basically eliminated the gate. So on the back side, there's just panels. We have 2x4s, I believe. They're just running down the back side on 3 sides, on 3 locations, I think. So now there's no more gate. So if the city wants to get access, they're gonna have to call and they're gonna have to take off the 2x4s. So that should not ever happen again. And so we just basically eliminated it. Since it's such a
It's just
problem.
costing us money to keep repairing for whoever and whatever's going on with that gate.
Right. And nobody has any business being down in the creek as it is, so. What else was there? We had to repair irrigation on the west entrance, sprinklers, timers. We had to terminate some lines under the new slab at this is pool repair, sorry, not the west side. We did do some irrigation on the west entrance, and then on the pool over here. And then set up sprinkler timers, terminated lines under the new concrete slab. So if we did have a break, they wouldn't be leaking under there. We got the pump house repaired, so the roof is no longer sagging, and it sunk almost 9 inches into the ground from poor maintenance when it was originally built. It was a bad idea how they did it. So now it's concrete underneath of it, and it should be good to go. New supports, and that came out to $225 for the irrigation terminating lines and the work done for the slab, and then $1,900 for the repairs to the pump house. What else over there? We did retain, like I said earlier, we did retain Lockhart Pool. We pretty much kept our fees the same as they were last year due to everything that's going on with COVID and whatnot. So we'll have more discussion next season about if he's gonna renew or not. We'll have discussions about fees and prices again. Mother Earth has a long contract for the season, and that she did $1,100 per month. very bottom bid was one of the people that we hired before that did a lousy job, and they're just bidding it low to get the job back, and they already have that quality, so we already have experience with them. What is that, top notch?
Top notch.
Top notch one was the lowest bidder. Wasn't by much, but
We had two.
we fired him last season, so.
And he did again, but, and then we had two higher than her, than Mother Earth.
All right, I will move into unfinished business. So everyone wants to take a look at the website. If you guys like it and you wanna, I say we go for it. It's not that much money. I think it was $50 a year, was it?
I think so.
I forgot the green email.
Yes. 51.
So it's a professional managed site, and we can make changes to it, and we can add documents and whatnot. So it's an actual site. So if anybody has any questions, concerned, we'll move forward with the website.
Oh, nobody's said anything yet.
Okay. All right, electronic access bids was a big one. We were able to get 2 bids to add electronic access to the clubhouse and to a pool. That would give us total control. No more dealing with keys, and we will electronically give access or denial based on the rules, and if you rented it. So if you're behind on dues for other assessments, you obviously, part of the bylaws are not permitted to use the common areas. So we can turn off access for those carts, and we're gonna couple it with cameras at the entrances, not facing the restrooms or anything like that. Just overlooking the pool, mainly trying to get the gate in the doorways into the clubhouse to make sure vandalism and whatnot, any altercations is recorded. One was from Don's Mobile Lock Shop, and they quoted for 4 doors, $7,749, $567. $8,641.67, which gives us all the installation and all the equipment needed, and key fobs for access.
Did you say 4 doors?
4 doors.
Which 4 doors? I thought we were
No,
gonna do
it's
this one and then 2 bathrooms.
this door, the gate, and the 2
Oh,
bathrooms.
okay, you're counting, okay,
The full gate.
okay. Bathrooms.
And we got another one from Security Options, and theirs came out to $8,175.67. The problem with theirs is, they require $50 per month access for their software. So they retain their software, and we have to pay $50 to use it. So that'll be $50 per month against the HOA. That'll be, well, $600 a year to use the equipment we paid for to and then install it, basically. Does anybody have any comments or questions regarding those 2 bids?
On the
Yes.
on the first bid, is there
Yeah.
a monthly fee with that as well?
No.
If there's a problem with it, they service it?
Yes.
Okay.
And the key fobs, we're not gonna get parts, we're gonna get key fobs, which are the latest
Yeah.
technology. So I know there's another, was it Summit Place? Was it? Sutton Place that had a problem with the cards and going obsolete and whatnot. So they're looking for a new system, I guess, from what I gather. So key fobs are what's coming in, so we'll stick with that. It'll be more security and more control.
Well, there's, somebody brought this up and I thought it was a great idea, and with the key fobs, it will be really cool. they were wanting to know if we could, sorry, my thing keeps slipping here. If, we could open the pool from 9 to 10 for active seniors who wanted to just water walk. You know, so that they wouldn't be, you know, in with a bunch of kids, and the kid wouldn't be splashing and wanting to play and all that. And with the key fobs, you know, they can let us know who wants to do that, and then we can just program it, so they come in here and it would be just for them. So, I thought that was a pretty good idea.
Yeah. So it's pretty flexible, flexible, and then we can also do, I know there's been interest in using Clubhouse for gaming for the active seniors and whatnot. So that's something else we could incorporate as well. So, based on that, I would rather go with Don's Locks. They got a lower bid. And we own the system without a fee. But again, I need input, what you guys think, and if any online has any.
Yes, Richard Whitburn says, I do not think we need to spend another $8,000 on fob access to the pool, change the locks, and use keys that can't be duplicated.
Okay, I'll move that.
Matt Berry says, Don's does good work and they're based in Norman.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going that direction, I like them.
Okay. Write down Vern's comments.
Paul Darlene says, we say yes to key fob.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about it here?
So with
Yes,
this,
I'm sorry.
yes, I have a question. So this key fob system, I assume we'll need a server of some sort.
Yes.
Do you have a plan to secure the server, you know, like a locked room?
Yes.
server? Okay.
It'll be proximity, or it'll be proximate to this location, but we're not gonna disclose the location of it. As of right now, anyway. But it won't be somebody's house, and it will be owned by the, HOA. So. Yes,
Okay, so you're going off with the key fob system, so you're saying you get the whole thing contained. So how much is it gonna cost to update that when you say, okay, I got in 5 years because it's running on Windows 10 and all of a sudden they're gonna say the new version of software doesn't run on the new one, you have to buy new hardware. I guess it comes down to is what's, on the security, is it worth it to do that? What we know is that people that used to live here had their keys or duplicating keys to other people and they come out here and use the pool.
yes.
So, I mean, if it's,
And we don't know who's coming in or out.
right, but the thing is, like, you said the one was $50 a year for the software maintenance, the other one's not.
One's $50 per month.
Well, $50 per month, $600 a year, but then you're looking at in 5 years and replacing all that hardware or having to rebid and do, so it's another
I
cost.
see what you're saying.
That's what I'm just saying.
Let me call Don's and talk to them and see what they say, and I'll call security options and see if their $50 includes upgrades. Is that what you're looking at?
Right, because what you're looking at is having the, you're gonna have to upgrade the technology, after 5 years or whatever it is.
Right.
And so what's the cost in there?
Upgrade number.
And how much does it cost to rekey? Just to rekey that gate, how much would it cost to rekey the gate?
I haven't looked that price up, but but the problem I have with rekeying is it's gonna happen again.
Well, I understand that, but how often will we have to rekey it to recoup our $8,000 that we're spending?
I don't know. Like I said,
Because if it only takes $100 to rekey it,
it's gonna
That's-
be more than that.
yeah, well, I
It's gonna be
understand.
more than 100.
I'm just giving you,
Yeah.
that's 80 years worth of rekeying we can do, roughly, if you do it once a year.
I get what you're saying, Tim. We're about the only ones that don't have keys anymore. That still have keys, I mean. Everybody's
Keys
going.
give us some security.
Everybody's going to keys.
It's usually a security
Do
number.
the security cameras come with that system?
On Don's, it does not,
Okay.
but we can get a wireless system and install it ourselves. $200.
Richard says, do we have $8,000 to spend without increasing the dues? The pool is used 3 months. And Lori Bannister says, agree with Richard, how much do we have to spend?
It's already included in the budget. So no additional funding, for HOA dues, no increases. It's whether or not I'm gonna do it or not. I'm all for it, bringing us up in the 2020.
Do we vote on this, or do we just?
I think we can't vote today, we gotta get some answers done.
There's some questions I need to rate to ask and then I'll report back.
What's your name?
Chris?
Chris.
And Lori says, in regards to seniors walking before 10 a.m., it's already being done. Witness people in pool before 9 a.m.
What, the question is, make it just for them as well, because that right now, you can't kick people out. So,
There can't be people in the pool before 9 a.m. It's not unlocked before 10.
wait a minute, say that again? What did she say?
She says,
Did I miss her question?
in regards to seniors walking before 10 a.m., it's already being done. Have witnessed people in pool before 9 a.m.
I don't
How
see
is
that.
that possible? It's dead bolted every night. And it's undead bolted at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Nobody has a deadbolt key.
The pool company?
He doesn't go out that door, he only goes out the back gate.
Do they say what age group is in the pool before 9 o'clock? Is it
That's
kids or
really-
is it adults?
I think it's the people that are just maintaining the pool, that's who they're seeing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that John comes over here, 8 o'clock in the morning, and he'll get in there if he has to scrub tiles or something.
Mm-hmm.
But, now sometimes I'll open it a little early if I have to go to work or something, but I don't know that there's ever been anybody in that early in the morning, besides John.
We have a camera, we would know.
That's what I'm not worried about, because I'll go out there between 7 and 8 and prepare the pool. And I'll leave the thing unlocked then, because I'm likely to come back till 10 anyway.
Oh, so you do open it a little bit before 10 then? Oh, well, maybe, oh.
She said an older woman. I didn't initiate conversation, just observed on her walk. Woman in pool.
It's gotta be you.
But Richard says, spend the money on replacing the fences on Rock Creek and Porter. Do we have any idea how much the pool is used?
No. We don't have that electronic access to see a log of who goes in and who goes out. So all we can do is get a count when a person goes to check the pool, and that's only some numbers we can get. And I don't know those numbers. I don't know what our average is either. I know, 1 year it was, looking back at logs, we hit into the 40s one day. I don't remember what day it was, or if it was around holiday or not.
On a electronic signature, you know how many are coming in and how many are coming out, and who it is.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's an advantage of that.
And it would also help with knowing who is there for a destruction type situation as well. Right now, we get stuff broken all the time and we have no idea. But I'll look at those questions. If you have more questions or concerns, I'll bring them up. But I think it's a good idea. But maybe it's because I'm young, I don't know. But I'll check on the software issue down the road. Oh, what else was there? Anybody have any issues with the website? Somebody seen it?
They haven't said anything if they have any issues.
Okay. Alright, we'll go into a new business. There's gonna be an online payment fee for annual dues. And there's gonna be a convenience fee associated with it. So I wanted to get some feedback if about $7, if you pay your dues all at once using a debit card or credit card. Is there any thoughts on that? I thought for first year maybe splitting it to see if despite the usage, if not, we just leave it as the payer uses the full fee or pays the full fee.
Where's the fees going? I mean, what system are you using that's charging?
PayPal is gonna be a secure site, and they take their 29 cents, I think it is, and then 1.6%, I believe, or 1.2% process. It's all processing fees. HOA is not getting any fees off of it.
Right. It's the same thing with the water here. The
Yeah.
city of Norman charging a convenience fee, which
Yeah.
is technically illegal for them to do that, but.
Well, they get around it with what heaving,
Well, that's what they're in charge of that. I was just curious, because, you know, it depends on how you set up PayPal if you're using that, but I mean, if that's the way to go, it just seems like there's a lot of options to, where you don't have the fees, but if it's all going into, I guess, the one account that's a PayPal account, then.
yeah, it's PayPal and secure, like Venmo. I know a lot of people use Venmo, but I don't know how good it is for something for a nonprofit type deal for trackability and security and whatnot. And actually being able to get a hold of somebody. I'm not totally familiar with it. I just know the vendor we're using recommends, and I don't know if they're getting kickbacks or not. I wouldn't think so, just based on the feeling I get talking with them and whatnot. But, you know, it's business all around. But we've been doing, the association as a whole has been doing well with as far as people paying and catching up what they owe and whatnot. It's one of the lowest years we've had in a long time as far as people not paying. But I don't know, it's not the only option, you still send your check or money order. Yeah, it's
I'm
not,
gonna mail mine.
it's not the only way, we're not getting rid of
I
it.
just deal with a lot of electronic stuff, and I have a hard time when people throw fees on the things that don't have fees on them when things are easier, but I deal with a lot of.
I get it, it's
people that do
not
that.
us, it's
Yeah.
the processing company, and I don't agree with, I hate doing fees.
Yeah.
It's just convenient for some people, I don't know. I know my parents, they want points on from their credit card and all that, so.
But as long as it's not the only option.
No,
you
it's
have,
still checking money orders are still, or not, it's not gonna be a online only, it's just an option. Okay. Any comments online?
Dawn says, I don't mind paying a fee if it saves me writing a paper check.
Alright, okay,
Richard says, my bank sends an electronic check for free.
perfect. Mine will too, but it takes forever. Alright, so it's just gonna be an option. So check, money order, or online.
Alright.
We're also, the clubhouse will also have online payment option as well, where you can do the check or money order. The new rental agreement is gonna be electronic as well, or you can print it out and submit it with your payment as well if you wanna do it old school type thing. So it's both generations, or all three generations now, I guess.
Well, at one time we talked about if you put, or was that you and I can't remember what we talked about, we were talking about it on the website. If you reserve the clubhouse, that means that you accept the rental agreement terms. And so you can still print it out and everything, but you signing up for the clubhouse means that you've agreed to that.
Right,
Is
yeah,
that
if you do it completely online.
Yeah, if you do it completely online.
I know some people don't wanna do that still. But that's the option we would want for the clubhouse, cause that reserves it right then and there as well. It'll make that date unavailable for other people looking at it. Let's see, we're gonna look at getting new furniture, mainly the chairs. The loungers seem to be okay, but the chairs we're looking to replace probably for next season. And then do some picnic tables. We're gonna need to figure out a good location for them, so we'll put them inside. As Terry brought out the food issue and the buzz. So we'll decide that down in the future. That's just getting on the agenda to talk about everything, think about that. And if they know what type of furniture they do want to get at the pool, what they like to see, let us know and we can investigate that as well. I'm looking to get a shed for the back. It's not set in stone, but that would get rid of, all this stuff would go in it, and all the pool furniture would go in it, and that would open this room up for the clubhouse rental without it being there. I don't have any bids for that yet. But it's on the agenda now, and any input on that would be helpful.
Yeah, I got, most outdoor sheds end up with spiders, mice, and, other kind of critters. And with the furniture that they use put in here when they rent it, if that gets all out there and they get spiders and stuff on there, they may have issues with that. I'd rather not have a clubhouse furniture from inside being stored outside.
Okay.
Just for that reason. We don't have a whole lot of insects inside
Right.
like we would outside in that shed. That's just my opinion.
What if it was built so it didn't have that issue?
Do what?
What if it was built so it would alleviate that issue?
Well, if you.
Because it wouldn't be a pre-built shed.
So, as long as you don't have the issue out there, then I'm fine. So,
Because I wasn't gonna look into a pre-built, I was looking to an actual building being built. But again, it all comes down to the numbers and what the community wants. I just see it as a value added, having a whole nother room that's not.
Well, we
For
have
chairs
had
and
people
tables.
that pulled all that stuff out, so they could use that room. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I do have to think about spiders, so I'm kind of feeling your pain. It's like, ooh. Be a mixed bag there.
And then, does everybody drive to the pool, or do they just walk?
Both.
Anybody?
I usually
Because I don't know who the farthest is, and if they drive to the pool, if there's adequate parking here or not. I don't think there is, but.
Well, it's stupid parking. Not, well, stupid's not the right word, but the way the road curves right there, you can't park. You know, people are kind of in and out
Right.
like this. But the only way that it's too bad we couldn't do what Highland Village did.
Which one?
Because their whole thing is a parking lot in front of their pool. And that would cost us a fortune.
Well, I don't know what it would cost, but I don't know if there'll be any interest or not from
Oh,
the community
yeah,
on that.
that's true too.
If there's no interest, then that's fine. If there is, we can investigate that, even if it's legally possible based on setbacks and whatnot. So. But again, with concrete costs, I don't know what that would cost. Just an idea.
You just know, they had to do this twice out here too,
Which one?
the circle, when they repaved.
Did that?
They paved it twice, meaning that second time they didn't fix the spidering like they said they were gonna do, but they went ahead and left it.
I don't even know what the history on that.
There's water,
Mhm.
there's water underneath, that's like when you go down the street over, you always see water running across the street and stuff like
Mhm.
that. That's when they pulled it all out, it was all wet underneath there.
Right.
They didn't realize that, and then they went ahead and they set it down and paved it down there, and there's all spiders everywhere.
So that was a city contract, right?
Yeah.
Darla, is that what you were talking about too?
Yes.
Where you said there was water down there?
Yes, and I talked to the man, from the company that did the original work, and he claimed it wasn't their workmanship, they just did what was, laid on top of what was already there. And I said, well, it didn't pull up like that. But, he claimed that we needed to have people, call the city. And it couldn't just be one person, it needed to be several.
Well, I'll go straight to our councilwoman.
But it pulls right there at the intersection of Halifax Way and, what's that, Second Street?
Ridgefield?
Is it Ridgefield?
Yes.
Ridgefield.
Halifax and
Ridgefield.
Ridgefield. Water,
It will pull for days.
water pools.
Yeah, according to the guys that were putting it down, they don't know where it's coming from.
Right.
It's not coming from the pool,
Well, of course not.
but it's coming from somewhere, they weren't sure, but it was the city that signed off on it before, because the guys laid it down and said, okay, this didn't, come out the way it should, and so they went ahead and pulled it out, and the city went ahead and signed off on the second time.
Of course.
Sort of like the speed,
They signed off on that and they're not legit either.
They're not legit at all, over there on Hamden.
Pools, water, so I'll contact our new councilwoman and talk with her about it. see if we can get some department heads in on that. Okay, the entrance signs on the border, I don't come over here very often through that driveway. It seems overgrown to me. Do you guys have any, yeah?
It's overgrown.
Okay, I was to make sure it wasn't me. I don't know if we can get away with it. Yeah,
You mean the flower beds?
yeah.
Oh, they are, but the fact, if we trim them back now, we're gonna cut all the stuff off the crepe myrtles, so we deliberately didn't trim them till fall. It is
You
overgrown.
can't even see this,
I
the
know.
lettering.
Well, if we trim them now, then we run the risk of killing the crepe myrtles.
What if you
If,
swap them out?
well, if we wait until fall, we can cut them way back. And
What
then
do we
it's
have on Robert?
different.
Why don't we just?
I've tried to keep them kind of similar, Benjamin, now you're gonna, I can't help you out there.
You know, we can't keep having that because,
But
people
once-
drive by like,
Well, once we cut them back, then they won't be grown back, I mean,
how fast that?
no, we'll just keep them trimmed.
Well,
We keep these trimmed too,
Okay.
but I mean, if you guys, huh?
Are they crepe myrtles over there?
Yes, there's crepe myrtles over there. But if you guys don't care about, cause one of the things that Kristen went on, is just, I'll cut all the flowers off. If you guys don't care about that, and I mean, it's not real hot right now, we can numb them back. Instead of waiting until fall, and you're right, the letters and everything will show up there,
Right,
but,
they look a lot better.
but I hate to kill them off just to,
I get that, but I don't have it be a continuing problem for this side of it.
but all shrubs are. I mean, everything has to be trimmed. All four of them have to be trimmed,
So that one gets so far out of whack.
because we didn't trim it back in time.
Okay, does anyone else wanna bring up any new business?
Richard Whitburn says, has anyone who lives on Hamden complained about the number of construction vehicles?
Why am I gonna stop that?
We have, and it's a city street, and they can go right through there. We did, when they were doing the speed humps, we complained, and they basically just blew us off. And they told us that they cannot stop any traffic unless they are speeding. And then they can do something. But yeah, it's kinda rotten, actually.
Any, do you have any other comments?
Nope, that was it.
Yes.
Richard said something earlier about the fences on Porter and Rock Creek
I was gonna bring
Road.
that up after that.
They look off.
Yes.
I'm not denying that, it's gonna be a question of HOA spending money or HOA not spending money.
Well,
And so far the consensus is everybody buys their own.
but go down west on Rock Creek to go to trails. You see that, I'll call it a beautiful fence for lack of a better word. They put posts up and they've got a nice fence and they got runners on the bottom, along the top. I have no idea what it costs. But it's very nice looking and it upgrades everything in that place.
And I'm not saying it's not nice, I'm just saying it's an expenditure that has to be approved by the HOA.
And it's been brought up before, and people are not in favor of it.
Yes, we are.
Well, not,
Yeah,
well, no,
majority.
not everybody, the majority is
Well,
not.
and some of these slats over here on Rock Creek Road, there's 3 or 4 of them are missing. They need to be replaced. I mean, it looks crummy.
They should be getting notices.
If you look at the neighborhood across the street, you've seen the house that has put in the new fence, and then you notice old fences up. What stops someone to put in one that's pointed, one that's 8 foot, 6 foot, this wide, that wide, little?
Because
I mean, you're gonna
The
have,
covenant tells you.
covenants, you have any addition, anything that you're gonna change from the style that's already in must be approved by the ACC.
okay, and then, again, I'll bring up a point I brought up before. We used to live in Sutton Place, and we chose the home that backed up to Porter. That was our choice to have a road behind us. But when we chose that, it had a fence already there. And it was owned by the Association of Sutton Place. And that was, something that, again, that we just chose to do to buy that, house on Front Street. So, I think it would be a good thing for those neighbors to have fences that all look the same, and for this neighborhood to keep our, property values, showing that, you know, we have a good neighborhood buying here and selling here.
When was the last time we voted on that, do you remember?
No.
We voted on this before, and
Is that the original fence from 1996? So we're looking at, and it said we got estimates, did we get estimates?
We got estimates for ours, we didn't get for what the HOA was gonna get estimates for what homeowners have.
I think it makes sense to figure out what it's gonna cost, whether we do it, get it, you know, have a work day and have guys out there putting up panels, if it lasts 20 years, I don't understand why I think you could get enough homeowners that think that makes enough sense when they go to sell, that it's gonna look uniform and nice.
Because the problem is, I get where you're coming from, and I agree. The problem is, everybody has a fence line that needs to be replaced at some point, and some people are getting freebies from.
Maybe do a half day, maybe just do
From
some,
the field.
number one, you gotta figure
I'm just
out-
saying, you're fighting what's in the covenant, not my opinion.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
owns the fence? The individual house or the association?
individual and
Yeah.
houses.
So, I want to bring this up, 'cause I live next door, and it wasn't voted on, I was just told, no, we don't pay for any of the fence, so the fence that goes along the pool over there, I paid for it. Okay? And, you know, I thought, hey, is the pool gonna pay half? I thought, hey, like a neighbor, you pay half, whatever, so it's told, no, it's not. I'm all for the fence line along Porter, the fence line along Rock Creek, saying the homeowners pay half, and the homeowners association pays the other half.
Right.
To me, that seems fair. No, it's not gonna be fair because people just say, well, someone lives in here, doesn't get their fence paid for.
Right.
But you know what, I got a bigger backyard than a bunch of people over here too. It's good and bad, I gotta pay for more fence. But it backs up to another neighborhood, once again. So I'm just saying, I'm all for, I don't know if it was ever voted on before. I was just told when I brought this up that no, that I had to pay for it. There was no vote, there was no nothing or anything like that went on.
Because that's what's in the covenant
That's
as
fine,
it stands now.
but I agree, I think that it needs to be uniform out there, so it's one nice looking fence on there, it makes the neighborhood look much nicer than having it the way it is right now, or when other people start putting in different ones. I would just say, yeah. Well,
Because you can stain it or not stain it.
Well, they're not supposed to though, it's not, it is supposed to be uniform by the covenant. It's supposed to all look the same.
Well,
They
if
can't
each-
do some
If each
pieces.
homeowner's got their choice of what they put up.
They do
No,
not.
they do not.
They do not have a choice.
So it's gotta be cedar, 8 foot, blah, blah, blah.
It has to
That's
meet the
all choice.
aesthetics of the neighborhood it's already established.
But
And
it
so
still
why
wouldn't-
don't
it
we
still
do
wouldn't
that
look the
this
same.
year, and in 10 years, and it's gonna always look bad.
Yeah, it's a wood fence, if it's not put in at the same time.
If you get if you get the majority to vote yes, then we'll do it. We've tried it before, I don't care either way. It's the better, I think it's the betterment for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Get the votes and we'll do it. Get people interested to actually make comments on it and we'll do it. 149 houses and this is all we have, so.
Can you get a committee to go look at a couple of different types of fences and pricing? I mean, you wanna keep it the same, and they can't put up just anything they want to willy-nilly.
Right.
So
But-
there are some things there already that are put in there, but to put up a really nice fence, and if they have to pay for whatever it normally costs them, and the association pays the other part of it, it's more aesthetic and it looks great, and it makes people think, well, this is a nice area.
I
First
think-
of all, we would have to get people to agree to that.
I know.
You know, before, I mean, it's not, to me, it's not how much it costs per se. It's gonna be whether people will agree to it or not, and in the past, they have not.
You're talking about people that agree that are in this meeting, or the people, the 129 families?
The people that.
It's supposed to be 149 to make we need, how many? Let me get the number. 149 divided by.
We can go get this.
Yeah, I'll go look and see what it is. We want it to look nice.
Yeah.
38 households.
We can do that.
Doesn't have to be
We need
60%.
38 yeses and it's done.
No, not for that.
38 households,
No.
but
An
149.
expenditure would fall under normal, like, dues and whatnot. So 38 households, and then we can, like, I know what we did replace on Porter, the creek, both sides of the creek,
Right.
was around $8,000 for cedar. and metal posts.
Right.
So, probably 12 to 15,000 maybe. Maybe, we obviously we get multiple bids for it, but
If that was 8,000
for both sides, yeah.
for both sides, and then how much per air?
I don't have the sheet with me right now. I can break it down by square foot. I have to get the invoice. But,
That was 8,000 for Porter and Rock Creek Road?
no, just for Porter, that one section of border between the daycare and the creek opening
Okay.
and the Harrington Court short fence at the creek. Basically from the corner of that one person's property at the cul-de-sac to the gate,
Okay.
and that includes tearing out the old one as well, so. But I'm all for it. Okay. We just gotta get some interest. Yes?
I think support for it will depend on if you'll have to raise HOA dues in order to do this, because if you have to raise HOA dues, you're gonna face a lot of opposition.
Right, we should, based on, it depends what it is, but we shouldn't have to.
They should if they wanna get their money back when they sell their house, and that's a bad argument, I think, but,
Right. Well, we shouldn't have to,
right, well, even if we do, I mean.
yeah. I hate that. We've already raised them once, so I hate to do it.
We're right as lowest in the city of Norman too, I think.
We were rock bottom, I think.
Right, so I mean,
Well, it could be done through special assessment too.
We could do a special
That might be a
assessment.
one-time thing that could be paid.
And I wouldn't mind doing a split, with the neighborhood either, with those homeowners either. That way, then either they can pay their half in full, or if they wanna split it out, we put a lien against their house for that amount, and then relieve it once it's paid up, so the HOA is not out money. It's something we could discuss. But if something we can do it, I don't have a problem with it. I think it would be nice to put up cedar or whatnot, down both lines. It'd be nice to get them both matching. I don't know what happened there with the one side with the brick and the other side just straight fencing when they built this place.
I was told it was supposed to be brick fence all the way around, and that was one of the selling points. There was a huge stack of bricks. And as time went, that stack of bricks got smaller and smaller, and it didn't go to the fence.
I've heard that too. I've heard that's why the flower beds are different too, the entrances. Is
Yeah.
that what you heard?
Yep.
The entrances, yeah.
Yeah, it's just wherever they needed, they just went in and said, well, we'll take this and use it, so you can do this over here instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I will call tomorrow, Wednesday. I'll start getting bids for the fence line. So at least we know what we're looking at. Okay? Anything else? Comments online?
Let's see. Paul says the fence issue cycles around regularly. It always gets voted down. We've lived here 15 years. Richard says agree on half and half. Lori Bannister says seems reasonable to split cost. Homeowners should be primarily responsible since it's theirs, but some of the costs could be borne by the rest of the HOA. Amanda says split the cost for the fence. Richard says covenant says wood, no metal or plastic. And Dawn says I don't see how the HOA could pay for all the fences honestly without raising dues.
You got a bunch of money?
I do
Again,
think
it all depends on the amount of how much the bids are gonna be, whether or not we'll run out of money or not, with our reserves.
and I like the half and half, but I do think that people need to maintain their fences, because if you look,
I agree.
people have vines growing, trees growing, bushes growing.
Well, that would, I think we would want to make sure that people knew that they couldn't have, because I saw there's something that's got a trumpet vine, sorry, a trumpet vine that's growing all over it, which is beautiful. But I know eventually that's gonna tear that fence down.
Okay. Anything else? Yes.
I got one other thing. So we go over the covenants and everything. How come, we the trash can thing covenant being done all the time.
As far as it not being pulled back, and
Yeah.
we should be sent out, ACC just sent out notices
Yeah.
for violators.
Okay.
And
And
then,
so, 365 days a year, these 2 trash cans out here are visible from the road.
from here.
Which two trash cans?
The ones right outside the door.
Oh, the clubhouse ones?
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, if what we're saying is we don't want trash cans out there because it, you know, it doesn't look good and that's the thing. Same thing with the clubhouse, because the clubhouse is done up like a house out here, it's supposed to look nice. I don't understand why there's not something in the back or why they're not
We
behind.
can put them back, it's just whether or not people are gonna throw their trash away. So we can put them back behind the clubhouse, it's not a problem.
Well, I'm just saying, because we're going off the, you know, that's all I'm saying, because it does say, and it says there in 4.8 or 4.5 or whatever, even the common.
Right.
where could you put them so that people would still use them from the pool?
They have to.
I have no idea. I'm just going off the covenant because we're going off everything. Like I had to do my fence. And we're going off what it says right now. And it says in there it's not supposed to be visible from. It says from other areas or even the road. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. It seems like it's never been addressed, but there's not a place where it could be, you know, behind here or something where it's used. But I know that these are out here the rest of the year when the pool's closed.
Yeah.
They sit out here too.
See, if it wasn't for the pool, we could put them out.
How about 3 months of the year, the green one stays out, and then the blue one and the green one get put up the rest of the time?
Say that again?
How about if during pool operations, the green one stays out, and then, the rest of the 9 months, they're both behind some partition?
We really don't need to have the recycling one out.
Right.
Well, people put stuff in it from parties, they don't put it from the pool, but.
Yeah, we can put them back
That
here.
one could be,
We put them back here, they can still use it. That's it's a valid deal, so.
yeah, let's just put them back behind then. We can
Okay.
put them on this concrete back here.
Alright, so we'll move them tonight. Anything else? Anything online?
Nope.
Alright, it's 8:03, I'll make a move to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, Kristen, alright. If you have any questions you wanna ask, you can come on up and ask them as well.
And does anybody want to look at the
Meeting-
website?
Meeting's adjourned.